Time for fun, time for smiles, a special time for you.
Storytime with Barney
Is what we love to do. Stories old and stories new, a fairy tale or two.
Storytime with Barney
Is fun for me and you. We just love to share great tales from here and there. So listen carefully, with your imagination you can see. Now let's go to Storyland and we'll learn something new. Here's a special story just for you. Hi there, everybody. This is your friend Barney, and I have some very special stories just for you. Can you guess the name of this first story? It's about a little girl and 1, 2, 3 bears. That's right. It's Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Now get comfy, snuggle up, and get ready to listen. I'll tell the story, and you can use your imagination. Are you ready? Okay then, here we go. Once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived together in a little house in the deep green woods. There was a great big papa bear, a middle-sized mama bear, and a cute little baby bear. One morning, the 3 bears sat down at the table to have a nice breakfast of porridge. That's a yummy, gooey kind of cereal that's cooked on the stove. Oh, but when they tasted their porridge, they got a surprise.
Oh,
Ooh, whoa, boy, that's hot.
Oh, dear.
too hot.
Oh, yes, their porridge was much too hot to eat. But Papa Bear had a good idea.
Why don't we all go for a nice long walk in the woods? And when we get back, our porridge will be cool enough to eat.
Great.
And that's just what the 3 bears did. They went for a nice long walk in the woods. Well, in the very same woods, there was a little girl named Goldilocks. She had been picking flowers in the woods, and now she wasn't quite sure how to find her way home.
Do I go this way or that way?
So when Goldilocks saw the bear's house, she ran to it, hoping to find some help. She knocked on the door, but no one answered, and the door swung wide open.
There's nobody home.
Goldilocks walked right into the 3 bears' house, and the very first thing she saw was a cozy little living room with 3 chairs in it. She was tired, so she tried sitting in the great big chair, but
Oh, this chair is much too hard.
next, Goldilocks tried sitting in the middle-sized chair, but
Oh, this chair is much too soft.
finally, Goldilocks sat down in the tiny little chair.
Ah, this chair is just right.
But she had only been sitting for a moment when something happened.
Oh, why this little chair has broken into pieces.
As Goldilocks picked herself up, she suddenly smelled a delicious, yummy smell.
I smell something good to eat.
Goldilocks followed her nose right into the kitchen. And there on the big wooden table were 3 bowls of porridge. And she was very hungry. So Goldilocks took a spoonful of porridge from the great big bowl, but
Oh, this porridge is much too hot.
next she took a spoonful of porridge from the middle-sized bowl, but
Ew, this porridge is too cold. Brr.
finally Goldilocks took a spoonful of porridge from the tiny little bowl, and
Ah, this porridge is just right.
And Goldilocks kept on eating until the tiny little bowl was empty.
Ah, that was good.
Well, after a big breakfast like that, Goldilocks felt very sleepy. So she climbed up the stairs and found a cozy little bedroom with 3 beds. First, Goldilocks tried the great big bed, but
Oh, this bed is much too hard.
next she tried the middle-sized bed, but
Oh, this bed is much too soft.
finally, Goldilocks tried the tiny little bed in the corner, and
Ah, this bed is just right.
Goldilocks pulled a nice warm blanket right up to her chin and rested her head on a fluffy little pillow. Oh my, everything felt so cozy that Goldilocks fell fast asleep. Just then, the 3 bears came back from their walk. And when they saw the door to their little house standing wide open, they hurried inside. Right away, they could see that someone had been in their home,
Hey, someone's been sitting in my chair.
said Papa Bear,
Someone's been sitting in my chair.
said Mama Bear,
Someone's been sitting in my chair, too.
said Baby Bear.
And look, it's broken all to pieces.
Next, the 3 bears looked in their kitchen,
Hey, someone's been eating my porridge.
said Papa Bear,
Someone's been eating my porridge.
said Mama Bear,
Someone's been eating my porridge, too.
said Baby Bear.
And look, it's all gone.
Finally, the 3 bears climbed the stairs, up, up, up to their bedroom to have a look around.
Hey, someone's been sleeping in my bed.
Said Papa Bear,
Someone's been sleeping in my bed.
said Mama Bear,
Someone's been sleeping in my bed, too.
said Baby Bear.
And look, she's still here. Oh.
Suddenly, Goldilocks woke up and saw those 3 bears looking at her.
Uh-oh.
Then Papa Bear said,
Hello, little girl. Are you the one who has made a mess of our nice clean house?
but Goldilocks didn't understand the way bears talk. So what she heard was this.
Oh dear, oh my.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Goldilocks was so frightened that she jumped out of bed and ran past the bears and down the stairs and past the chairs and out the door and through the woods, and she kept on running until she found her way home. And so, from that day to this, Goldilocks has never gone back to that little house in the deep green woods. And the 3 bears always remember to lock their door when they go for a nice, long walk. The end. Oh, I just love that story, don't you? And I'm so glad I could share it with you. Now it's time for another good story. It's called The Queen's Contest. Have you ever been in a contest? Like a running contest or a jumping contest? Well, this story is all about a very special contest. Now, I'll tell the story, and you listen carefully, and use your imagination. Are you all comfy and cozy? Good. Then here we go. Once upon a time, there was a queen who ruled every single animal living in the land. She loved all the animals very much, and she loved doing things to make them happy. She loved to make up contests that would show which animal was the best at something. Like this. Can you clap your hands together like that? Well, in one contest, the queen asked all the animals, to clap their paws, or hooves, or wings, to see who could do it the loudest.
My dear animal friends, this next contest I have made up is different from all my other contests. I want to see which one of you can do something that fills me with the most joy.
Oh, joy! That's a nice feeling. Joy is like having a million smiles and happies stuffed inside of you. Oh boy, who could give the queen the most joy? Oh, the animals chattered and chirped and harumphed all day and all night.
I can fly backwards. I can.
Finally, they chose 3 animals who could do something very special. They were the best cook in the land, Mrs. Raccoon. The best singer in the land, Mr. Nightingale. And the finest artist in the land, Mrs. Bluebird. Oh boy, the animals were so excited. You know what it's like waiting for something special to happen? It's hard, because there's this jump up and down feeling inside your tummy. Finally, the day arrived. The queen was going to judge the contest and choose a winner. Mrs. Raccoon, Mr. Nightingale, and Mrs. Bluebird were very nervous. Of course, each of them wanted to be a winner. Mrs. Raccoon stayed up all night cooking.
There's my honey cake. As light as a marshmallow. First prize in the contest for sure.
Mrs. Raccoon carefully took the cake and began to climb the hill leading up to the queen's castle.
Oh, my fur coat is too hot for this weather. I need to cool off. I'll just sit down for a minute under this tree.
Suddenly, Mrs. Raccoon heard a noise. Oh my gosh, a baby sparrow had fallen out of his nest up in the tree. Mrs. Raccoon found him shivering in the grass.
You certainly picked a fine time to try your wings, didn't you, baby sparrow? Well, I can't stay and help because I cannot be late for the contest. If I see your mother at the contest, I will tell her to come right home.
Once more, Mrs. Raccoon started climbing the hill to the queen's castle. Not far behind, Mr. Nightingale was also walking to the castle.
No, that's not it. My throat is dry as dirt. I won't win first prize. I just know I won't.
Mr. Nightingale stopped for a rest under the big oak tree. It was like sitting under a giant green umbrella, so cool and shady from the hot sun. He had just sat down when... what did he hear?
Ooh la la, what's this?
The baby sparrow. Mr. Nightingale saw the baby sparrow shivering in the grass. He knew right away what had happened.
Poor thing. Too bad I can't stay and help you, but today is the big contest. I just might win first prize if I get there on time. When it's over, I'll come back and help you out, baby sparrow.
Mr. Nightingale continued his climb to the queen's castle. Mrs. Bluebird was last up the hill. At the big oak tree, she sat down for a rest.
Oh, my. This is a good spot to check how my picture is doing.
She was carrying her needlepoint picture under her wing. Just then, she heard the crying voice of the baby sparrow.
What's this? Oh, my gosh. You poor little thing. So frightened. There, don't cry. We'll get you fixed up in a bluebird's rink.
Mrs. Bluebird didn't even worry about her pretty cloth picture with the clean white borders. She spread it on the grass and wrapped up the baby sparrow. How do you wrap up a baby? Yes, ever so gently. That is how Mrs. Bluebird wrapped up the baby sparrow. Then she picked him up and held him in her little wings. The baby bird stopped crying and eventually fell asleep on Mrs. Bluebird's shoulder as she slowly climbed the hill to find the sparrow's mother. The queen was ready to choose the winner. She called for the final contestants. The first was Mrs. Raccoon.
Your Royal Highness, I offer you my special cake. Please taste it. I hope it fills you with joy.
Sweet as honey, light as air, delicious.
The next contestant was Mr. Nightingale.
This, Your Highness, is my special song. Please listen to it. I hope it fills you with joy. La 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 la.
That was beautiful, splendid, sublime. Thank you, Mrs. Raccoon and Mr. Nightingale. Thank you. Dear animal friends, today is a contest to see which one of you in all the land could give me the most joy. Joy, the feeling of a million smiles and happies stuffed inside you. And it gives me great pleasure to tell you the winner is... What is happening down there?
A little figure trudged onto the platform and headed towards the Queen. It was Mrs. Bluebird.
What is the meaning of this, Mrs. Bluebird? You are too late. I am about to announce the winner.
To help the Queen understand what happened, Mrs. Bluebird opened a corner of her pretty needlepoint cloth. There lay the baby sparrow, still asleep. All the animals leaned forward and listened hard to hear Mrs. Bluebird's story. But Mrs. Raccoon couldn't wait for her to finish.
Oh, you are a silly bird, Mrs. Bluebird. You know our queen does not like to be kept waiting. I saw the baby sparrow, but I was going to tell Mrs. Sparrow about her baby after the contest.
Mr. Nightingale had something to say, too.
Mrs. Bluebird, this was not the right time to stop and play nurse. Contests are far more important. I saw the baby sparrow too, but I was going to go back after the contest.
Mrs. Raccoon and Mr. Nightingale, you saw this baby sparrow alone and afraid, and left him there on the grass, alone and afraid?
We all love to win.
Please, Your Highness, which one of us won today?
The Queen said nothing for a long, long time. She had many feelings and words mixed up inside her. And when that happens, it's hard to talk, isn't it? Finally, her words came out, loud and clear.
The winner is...
Everyone held their breath.
Mrs. Bluebird. Today, Mrs. Bluebird taught me something that fills my heart with joy. Contests are fun, and winning is fun. But they are not the most important things. Helping each other and caring for each other. These are the things that come first. I knew that, but I had to be reminded. Thank you, Mrs. Bluebird.
Hooray!
Mrs. Bluebird curtsied.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Thank you.
The end. Oh, that was a terrific story. Contests are fun, and winning is fun, but helping and caring for each other is important too. Oh, I'm so glad we could listen to it together. Oh, I just know you're going to like this story. The title is Just One More Thing. And it's about going to bed, getting tucked in, and about all of someone's very favorite bedtime things. Now, while I tell the story, you can use your imagination. Are you ready? Good. Then here we go. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Sarah. And do you know what? She was just about your size.
Yeah, I'm a big girl.
One day, Sarah's mommy and daddy had to go on an overnight trip, and they couldn't take Sarah along. So for that one night, they had Sarah's nice grandpa come over to take care of her.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hi, sweetie.
And oh, they had lots of fun together.
Who wants to make popcorn?
I do.
But that night, when Sarah was wearing her pajamas and climbing into bed, she felt just a little bit sad.
What's the matter, Sarah?
Well, Mommy or Daddy usually tuck me in. I don't know if I can sleep if anyone else tucks me in.
You know, when your mommy was a little girl, just your size, she got tucked in by your grandma. So I don't know much about tucking someone in.
You don't?
Nope. And Grandma's back at my house. But maybe you can teach me how to tuck someone in.
Okay, let's see. I've got my pillow and my favorite cuddly blankie.
And do you need anything else?
I think I need just one more thing. I need my baby doll that talks.
All right, let's see. Here you are.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Oh, she has her baby doll that talks.
But, Grandpa, I do need just one more thing. I need my Jack-in-the-Box.
Okay, I think I can find that here.
Thank you, Grandpa.
And now Sarah has her marvelous musical Jack-in-the-Box and a baby doll that talks.
Is that everything?
Well, I do need just one more thing. I'd like for Ralph, the cat, to sleep in my bed.
All right. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Grandpa.
And now Sarah has the playful cat that stretches and meows, her marvelous musical Jack-in-the-Box, and a baby doll that talks.
Isn't that bed a little crowded for you?
No, and I kind of like just one more thing. I'd feel better if Jake the dog was in my bed, too.
Okay. Come on, Jake. Here, boy.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Wow! Now Sarah has the family dog who says bow wow, the playful cat that stretches and meows, her marvelous musical Jack-in-the-Box, and a baby doll that talks.
Well, now, that should do it, I think.
I think so, too, except for just one more thing. I need a nice bear to sit on the end of my bed and keep my feet warm.
A nice bear. I guess this one in the hall will do. Come on, fella.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Oh my! Now Sarah has a bear to keep her footsies warm, the family dog who says bow wow, the playful cat that stretches and meows, her marvelous musical Jack-in-the-Box, and a baby doll that talks.
That bed is getting so crowded, I can hardly see you.
Oh, that's okay, Grandpa. I've got room for just one more thing. Maybe I'll have nice music in my dreams if I have a piano in bed.
Just any piano?
It should be the one that Grandma plays at your house.
Oh, gosh, it's lucky that I brought that piano with me. Here it is.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Ooh, now Sarah has the big piano that comes from Grandma's, a bear to keep her footsies warm, the family dog who says bow wow, the playful cat that stretches and meows, her marvelous musical Jack-in-the-Box, and a baby doll that talks.
Are you sure you take all of this stuff to bed every night?
Uh-huh. All of this stuff. And just one more thing. I need an elephant that's wearing pink pajamas.
Why is it wearing pink pajamas?
'Cause it's bedtime.
Oh, well, if that's what you need. Come on, Jumbo. This way. Easy sitting down on the bed. Easy now. There.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Wowee kazowie! Now Sarah has an elephant wearing pink pajamas, the big piano that comes from Grandma's, a bear to keep her footsies warm, the family dog who says bow wow, the playful cat that stretches and meows, her marvelous musical Jack-in-the-Box, and a baby doll that talks.
Sarah? Are you still in there with all those things?
Uh-huh. I'm just kind of covered up.
I'm not surprised. There's not room for anything else in that bed.
But I do need just one more thing. I need my goodnight kiss.
Oh, well, I'll just have to move these things off the bed then.
So Grandpa moved an elephant wearing pink pajamas, the big piano that comes from Grandma's, a bear to keep her footsies warm, the family dog who says bow wow, the playful cat that stretches and meows, her marvelous musical Jack-in-the-Box, and a baby doll that talks.
Good night, Grandpa.
Good night, sweetheart. Now shall I put everything back on the bed, Sarah? Sarah?
But Sarah was fast asleep, with a happy smile still on her face.
Well, I guess I only need to do just one more thing.
And do you know what Grandpa did? He turned out the light. The end. Oh, I liked that story, didn't you? Do you have favorite things that you like to take to bed with you? Oh, they're cuddly, aren't they? Oh, time for fun. Time for smiles. A special time for you.
Storytime with Barney.
Is fun for me and you. Hi there, everybody. This is your friend Barney, and I have some very special stories just for you. The first story is called The Gingerbread Boy. Do you know what a gingerbread cookie is? It's a special kind of a cookie that's sweet and brown and just a little bit spicy. Now get comfy, snuggle up, and get ready to listen. I'll tell the story, and you can use your imagination. Are you ready? Okay, then. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was an old man and an old woman who had no children of their own. So one day, the old woman decided to make a gingerbread boy. She mixed up the dough and rolled it out. Then she used a cookie cutter to cut out a perfect little gingerbread boy and stuck on raisins to make his eyes and his nose and a great big smile. Then into the oven he went to bake. When the gingerbread boy was done, the old woman took him out of the oven. But then something amazing happened. The gingerbread boy started to pull himself up from the cookie sheet. And he sat right up.
Oh.
And then he pulled his legs up from the cookie sheet. And he started to run around the kitchen. The old man and old woman were amazed and happy.
We'll raise you like a real boy.
You'll learn good manners, and we'll have a happy home.
I don't want good manners. I don't want a happy home.
And the gingerbread boy ran around the room even faster.
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
And before the old man and old woman could stop him, the gingerbread boy ran right out the front door and into the great wide world.
Stop!
Stop!
The old man and old woman just could not catch him, and he kept on running until he met a horse who was galloping in a sunny meadow. The gingerbread boy ran just in front of the horse and teased the horse with silly faces. Finally, the horse said,
Stop running. I'd like to eat you.
I ran away from an old woman and an old man, and I can run away from you too. Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Whee!
And he ran so fast that the horse just couldn't catch him. And he kept on running until he met a cow who was grazing in a field. The gingerbread boy ran right up and rang the bell around her neck. And then he ran around the cow so fast that it made her dizzy just to look at him. So the cow said,
Stop running. I'd like to eat you.
I ran away from an old woman and an old man and a horse, and I can run away from you too. Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Whee!
And he ran so fast that the cow just could not catch him. And he kept on running until he came to a wide river. And then he had to stop.
I can't swim across. What should I do?
Just then, a clever fox walked to the side of the river. And in his very nicest voice, he said,
Hello, little gingerbread boy.
You don't want to eat me, do you? I ran away from an old woman and an old man and a horse and a cow. And I can run away from you too.
Oh, I'm sure you could, but I don't want to eat you.
ooh, that fox wasn't telling the truth, because he did want to eat the gingerbread boy. And he had an idea how to do it.
All I want to do is to help you cross the river.
You do?
Yeah, just jump on my tail and I'll carry you across.
Well, I guess your tail is safe enough. Okay.
And so the gingerbread boy jumped onto the fox's tail. And away they went into the river. They splashed further into the water, and soon the fox said,
You know, it's very hard to carry you on my tail like that. Why don't you ride on my back?
Well, okay.
and the gingerbread boy jumped onto the fox's back. And they kept on going through the water. But after a little bit longer, the fox said,
It seems that the water is deeper than I thought, little friend. You'd better sit on top of my head if you don't want to get wet.
and the gingerbread boy jumped onto the fox's head. And they paddled through the water for a while longer. And then the fox said,
Oh, sweet gingerbread boy, the water is really quite deep here. But if you sit on the end of my nose, you won't get wet.
Well, okay.
and the gingerbread boy jumped onto the fox's nose. And when the gingerbread boy was sitting on the fox's pointy nose, with nothing but water all around, the fox started smiling a hungry smile with lots of bright, white teeth. Uh-oh.
Why are you smiling with your bright, white teeth?
Because I've decided to eat you up right now.
Oh, whoa! There was nowhere to run, and the fox opened his mouth and took a great big bite. And the gingerbread boy was gone. But the gingerbread boy wasn't in the fox's tummy, because just as that fox started to bite, a robin flew down from the sky and grabbed the gingerbread boy in her feet.
Oh!
And now they were flying high over the woods,
You were almost that fox's lunch.
said the nice robin.
Didn't your parents teach you to be careful of strangers?
They wanted to teach me, but I ran away from them.
Oh, that will never do. Would you like me to take you back to your home?
Yes, please. Fly, fly as fast as you can. Take me home. I'm the gingerbread man.
And the robin flew him all the way back to the home of the old man and old woman.
Mother? Father?
You've come home.
Please don't ever run away again.
And after that, the gingerbread boy learned to have good manners. And he always did just what his parents told him to do. And that's why he lived happily ever after. The end. Oh, what a nice story that was. I'll bet there are times when you like to run and run all day too, aren't there? Oh, I'm so glad we could share that story together. Oh, I can't wait to share this next story with you. Have you ever moved to a different place and made new friends? Well, this is a story about a family who moves far away to a place where their new friends aren't just people. Now, I'll tell the story, and you can use your imagination. Ready? Okay then, here we go. Once upon a time, there was a little boy who lived in the city. The little boy loved the city. The shop windows of the stores filled with toys and goodies. The wide streets filled with cars. And the sidewalks crowded with people all hurrying to go somewhere. And he loved to look up at the tops of the tall buildings where people lived or worked. His mommy and daddy would take him to the quiet parks with beautiful flowers and lots of green grass to play on and ducks to feed in the ponds. And most of all, he loved the animals who lived in the zoo. Lions and tigers, and especially the elephants. One day, the little boy's mother and father came home with big news.
We're going to move to the country.
The little boy was very surprised.
What will we do in the country?
We're going to start a farm.
What will we do on a farm? We'll grow vegetables to eat and raise animals.
What kind of animals?
Oh, let's see. Sheep and chickens, pigs and cows, and lots of other animals.
Even an elephant?
Maybe not an elephant, but it will be lots of fun. You'll see.
The little boy wasn't so sure he wanted to move to a farm. He liked living in the city so much. But he thought his mother and father knew best. So, when it was time to pack their things, the little boy got a great big box and started packing his toys, and his books, and his clothes and shoes. His mother and father said that was a big help. They packed everything else. And finally, when they were done, a huge truck came and took everything away. The little boy was sad to leave the city. His parents took him downtown so he could say goodbye to the buildings he liked so much.
Bye-bye, buildings.
Then they went to the park so he could say goodbye to his favorite trees and flowers.
Bye-bye, oak tree. Bye-bye, roses.
And finally they went to the zoo so he could say goodbye to his favorite animals.
Bye-bye, Mr. Elephant.
And then they got in their car and drove off to the country. They drove and they drove and they drove.
Wow! My new home. Now I can unpack my toys and my clothes and my books.
And then they began to unpack.
I wonder what's in this box. My toys!
I wonder what's in this box. My books.
I wonder what's in this box. My farming tools.
After they were finished unpacking, Father went out to the field behind the house and began to plant. And do you know what he planted? He planted carrots. He put the carrot seeds in the ground, and after a while, little carrot tops started to poke up out of the soil. The carrot tops weren't colored like carrot bottoms. The carrot tops were colored green. They weren't very big yet, but you could tell that one day their tops would be green and leafy. And they'd have long, pointy, orange carrot bottoms. Oh, everyone was so excited.
Those are the most beautiful carrot tops I've ever seen.
Our carrots will grow big and strong here.
And they'll taste just yummy.
But then, one morning after breakfast, they went to the field, and the little green carrot tops were gone. They looked on the ground and saw that bunnies had made tiny footprints in the muddy field.
The bunnies ate our carrot tops.
Well, we'll just have to plant some more. But first, Let's build a fence around the field to keep the bunnies out.
And so they began to build a fence. It was going to be a wonderful fence. The little boy helped his father carry the rough brown wood out to the field, and he helped hold the boards while his father sawed them. And when they had finished sawing all the pieces of wood, the little boy helped his father nail the fence together. And when they were done, they thought it was the strongest looking fence they had ever seen.
This ought to keep the bunnies out.
I think so too. Let's plant some more carrots now.
So they planted more carrot seeds. And just like before, after a while, wonderful looking green leafy carrot tops started to poke up out of the ground. And just like before, one day they went to the field and all the carrot tops were gone. This time, the bunnies had dug underneath the fence to eat the carrot tops.
Oh dear, the bunnies ate the carrot tops again.
So the little boy thought about it and came up with a plan. He followed the bunny footprints until they led him to where the bunnies lived.
Yoo-hoo! Mr. Bunny, are you in there?
And pretty soon, some white bunny whiskers appeared at the top of the hole.
Yes, I'm here. Who are you?
I'm the little boy who lives in the great big house next to the field with the carrot tops you keep eating.
Oh, carrot tops. We all like carrot tops here. We've been meaning to thank you for growing them for us.
They're not for you. They're for us.
You eat carrot tops?
Well, no, not exactly. We eat carrot bottoms.
What's the problem then? We'll eat the tops and you can eat the bottoms.
Silly bunny. You can't have carrot bottoms without carrot tops. Carrot tops and carrot bottoms go together. And if you eat the carrot tops, we can't grow the bottoms.
Oh, that is a problem. What will we do?
So the little boy thought and thought. And Mr. Bunny thought and thought. And finally, they had the same idea at the same time.
We can share the carrots,
said the little boy and Mr. Bunny.
We won't eat carrot tops until there are carrot bottoms for you.
After we pick the carrots out of the ground, we'll cut off the tops for you.
And Mr. Bunny went back inside his bunny house, and the little boy went home. He told his father and mother about what he had done, and they were both very happy.
Now we can all enjoy the carrots.
And they all did. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Oh my, wasn't that a wonderful story? Can you imagine how much fun they had at harvest time? There were carrot bottoms for the family and carrot tops for the bunnies. Oh, I just loved sharing that story with you. How about another terrific story? This one is called The Ugly Duckling. It's an extra special story about little animals learning to be kind. So get ready. I'll tell the story, and you can use your imagination. Are you ready? Okay then, here we go. Once upon a time, there was a mother duck sitting on her nest of eggs. She said,
I hope my little babies come soon. Oh, I've been sitting here for such a long time.
They were ready to hatch at any minute. Oh, boy, don't you just love baby ducks? Oh, that was the first baby duck. There was the second one. That was number 3, number 4, and number 5. Oh, wait, there was one more. It was the biggest egg of them all.
Maybe my last egg is just too big to hatch.
Out popped a baby duck that was much, much bigger than all the other ducklings. The big baby duck looked around and said,
Hello, everybody. You must be my mama.
Hello. Ooh, you don't look like my other children. But I see you have webbed feet. So You must be a duck.
And you must be my brothers and sisters. I'm gonna like this family.
But the brother and sister ducklings didn't like their big brother. They didn't like the way he looked.
Your neck is too long. You have big feet.
Your feathers poke me. You're an ugly duckling.
Poor little duck. From that day on, everyone called him the ugly duckling.
You may call me an ugly duckling, but I'm not.
His brothers and sisters didn't want to play with him. But the ugly duckling kept trying to play anyway.
I'm really a very nice little duck. I just look different. If you don't want to play with me, I am going to find new friends.
The ugly duckling asked all the animals in the barnyard to play with him. The cow, the pig, and the horse all said no. Then he asked the rooster.
Mr. Rooster, will you come swimming with me? I need a friend.
Do roosters really like to swim?
No, I won't go swimming with you, ugly duckling. We roosters do many things, but we do not swim.
I'll remember that.
The ugly duckling tried one more time.
Mrs. Turkey, will you please come swimming with me? I need a friend.
Oh, dear. Do turkeys like to swim?
No, my dearest ugly duckling. I won't go swimming with you. We turkeys don't swim. We gobble. We dance. But we ladies of the barnyard do not swim.
The ugly duckling was so sad. He wanted a friend. Nobody liked him.
It's hard being an ugly duckling. I'm not ugly inside. I'm just like everyone else on the inside. If you played with me, you would see. I'm going to find a friend.
The ugly duckling went far, far away to a lonely lake. He saw some new animals.
Mr. Frog, I'll race you to the bottom.
I don't play with ducks, usually.
A tear rolled down the ugly duckling's beak. The frog felt sorry for him.
Right up. All right, let's race.
Summer was over. The leaves in the forest turned yellow and brown. And now, it was winter. The water in the lake began to freeze. The ugly duckling swam around and around as the lake got smaller and smaller until one day, the ugly duckling froze completely in the ice. A woodcutter came to the lake. He was getting some ice and water for his family when he spotted the ugly duckling frozen in the ice. The woodcutter chopped him out and brought the ugly duckling in a big ice cube home to his children. So they placed him by the warm and cozy fire to thaw him out. After a little while, the ice around the ugly duckling began to melt.
Look, Mommy, it is a silly-looking duck. What a long, skinny neck.
And his legs are like two sticks. It's an ugly duckling, that's for sure. Look, it's coming alive. Can we keep it, Mom? It looks so funny.
The ugly duckling was very frightened. He jumped over the water pail and spilled it. He knocked over pots and pans and was able to squeeze through a little hole in the door. Finally, he was free.
I may look funny. I may look ugly, but I'm not funny inside. I'm not ugly inside. I'm beautiful.
The ugly duckling shivered in the bushes by the pond through the rest of the winter. One day, it was spring. The bright yellow sun was shining. Little green leaves sprang out. Tiny violets peeked through the melting snow. Everyone was happy. The ugly duckling was happy too. His wings had grown long and strong, and he flew back to where he was born.
I can see the whole pond from up here. It's so good to be home. Maybe I can find Mama Duck. I can see the swans. Their curvy necks are long and beautiful, and their white feathers are so smooth. Maybe they will play with me.
The ugly duckling landed beside the swans. They looked up and saw him, and began to swim towards him.
Oh dear, the swans are coming closer. Maybe they will call me an ugly duckling too. Maybe they will be angry and say, we do not want to play with you. Maybe the swans won't be my friends.
The ugly duckling bowed his head low. The water was as clear as a mirror. In this mirror he saw his very own face.
Is that really me? Do you see that?
And then he shouted,
I'm not an ugly duckling. I'm a beautiful swan.
The swans rubbed their long, curving necks gently with his neck. The ugly duckling told them his sad story.
Now I know what happened. I was a swan's egg accidentally put in a mama duck's nest. She did not know. She thought I was a big duck. But I was really a swan.
In the afternoon, children came to play by the pond.
Look, Mommy, the swans are back. And there's a new one. He's very young. They hold his head so kindly. He's the most beautiful of all.
No one else could see it in the beginning, but the ugly duckling always knew that he was nice inside. And now everyone knew how special he really was. Boy, oh boy, the ugly duckling felt terrific about himself.
I never dreamed that I could be this happy.
The end. Oh, that was such a special story. The ugly duckling showed us something very important. We can be green or blue or purple on the outside, but we're all beautiful on the inside. Oh, time for fun. Time for smiles. A special time for you.
Storytime with Barney
Is fun for me and you.